Welcome back.
Today, we answer questions from our hot and juicy listeners.
Read excerpts from the greatest literary works.
And I reveal the story regarding how I am no longer a wage slave. This is the Boredroom. I'm Sara.
And I'm Rachel.
You ever choke on your own spit and think, oh my gosh, what if I had died? Yeah. Okay, we're going to start off this episode with some shout-outs to some beautiful people.
Yeah, we have a supporter on Anchor, because you can donate to us right on Anchor. So shout out to Tatiana Rebel.
Woo!
I hope I'm saying it right. Sorry if I didn't. But if you're ever in the market for a hot and sexy consensual smooch, hit me up.
That's lovely, Rachel. Very progressive of you. Very 2021.
Yes, thank you.
We do also want to give a shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon who you can help us out there. There's going to be a link in the bio. There's 17 of them. Okay? Our first ever patron, Charles Duff, who I think we mentioned. We might have mentioned him in the previous episode. But all our patrons, we're going to give you a shout out individually. Charles Duff, Wiley Nguyen, Emmanuel, I don't know how to say his last name. Nubudisi. I'm sorry, I messed that up. It's fine. Anyway, Cameron Creeth, Justice Phillips, Vivian, just Vivian. She goes by one name.
Like Madonna.
Right, or Cher, or Jesus. Mankey, Keys Roberto Brower, Caleb Tate, Craig D. Williams, the King of Keith, Golden, with a 3 instead of an E, Courtnea, Gay Post Malone.
I love Gay Post Malone.
Anime Avatar, Nick, and Alexander Lang. Thank you. Anyone who has given us money, who will continue to give us money in the future. If you see us on the street, you can just hand us coins. They don't have to be like American currency either. They can be like Canadian or British, even though those are like not valid forms of money.
Yeah. I'll take like arcade tokens at this point.
Chuck E. Cheese, anything that's shiny. I will take those like fake golden coins.
Yeah.
That you give out. You know, like those like Hanukkah coins.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone who's monetizing our degeneracy.
Yes.
We are eternally grateful, and we will disappoint you in the future. Like, we're just telling you that right now.
Yeah.
I give myself I give myself maybe another 5 months before I get canceled, and that's being generous.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our next sweet little topic. This is where we answer listeners' questions, and all of you have blessed us with a plethora of very interesting questions. A person by the name of E. Strauss64 has left what is, several weeks worth of therapy sessions in our questions.
Yeah.
Touched upon every single possible topic. Anyway, you can start us off.
I guess we can start off with Mr. E. Strauss64 himself. He asked quite the question. I think a question that has plagued humankind for centuries. Is Larry David sexy?
That's a pretty, easy answer.
Yeah, I think it's, yes.
100%.
Obviously.
Larry David looks like a founding father, and he has this, very non-threatening kind of masculinity.
Yes.
That I'm a huge fan of. You know what I mean?
I love it, yeah.
But Larry David is the type of man to be, balding at the top of his head, but then still wear a ponytail. So, it's, essentially, it's like an old man's version of a mullet, you know?
Yeah.
And I respect that.
And I love that, he seems very, neat and tidy.
Obsessively.
Which I like that. I want a clean, nice environment.
You want a man who takes, a bath.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Stop. I'm sorry. Does Jake Gyllenhaal not bathe?
No. Have you not heard this?
What?
He, said in an interview, I don't really believe in showering. I don't do it every day or anything. And everyone was like, huh?
Okay, wait. Does he mean, does he do it every other day? What does he mean?
No, I think it's, once a month.
How is that possible? How does he just not stink?
I feel like he probably does. Okay, because also earlier today I saw this like blooper reel from Spider-Man or whatever, and they kept being like, Tom, you have to get closer to Jake. And it's like, is that because he smelled? Like, did he not want to get closer because he smelled? Like, I feel like I'm putting all the pieces together now.
Oh my god. Our third eyes are opening up right now.
Yeah.
This explains a lot, I guess. I mean, it doesn't. Not at all. But I will say, I know for a fact that once he said that, there was probably like the thirstiest freaking people in the comment section being like, I'd lick the sweat off of you, Gyllenhaal. Just give me the chance.
I'll bathe you.
With my tongue.
Yeah.
Anyway, people are disgusting.
True.
But I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of the perversion of the human race. I feel like it's what keeps us going. Like, you actually think about how genuinely disturbed so many people are in terms of what they like, particularly men. It's like actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of it. As long as it's not criminal or it doesn't involve like animals. I can't imagine. There's people who are into like balloon popping. What? Evolutionary speed, like, how does that happen?
Yeah, like, wouldn't you learn to, like, be scared of loud noises?
Maybe that's what it is.
True.
It's the excitement, maybe. Because their monkey brains are like, a loud noise. Now I'm excited. I'm so smart. I should be an evolutionary psychologist.
You really should. That's
Sorry, I had to burp off mic. I can still taste the meal that I just ate. That's gross, but I also like that. You ever burp and then you can like taste what you ate and you're like,
yeah,
midnight snack.
It's always the worst when it's like a meat.
It's the best when it's a meat because that's the heartiest.
Yeah.
All right, we should get to another question. Joshua Brie. This sounds French.
Yeah.
He asks, "Hi, I have a problem. I live in Louisiana and I don't like country music. I feel so isolated when my friends and family play it, and I don't have the heart to tell them that I think it's shit. P.S. I know y'all say y'all have 10 listeners, but actually now you have 11.
Joshua.
Thanks, Joshua. So you live in Louisiana. My condolences, I guess.
Yeah.
And you don't like country music. This is a valid opinion. I think that Dolly Parton is the only country music artist that is valid.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson maybe, because he's like 157.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willie Nelson I think at this point is like, the only way to properly honor his memory when he dies is to turn him into ash and then like roll him into a joint. And then just pass him around at his funeral. Like, you wouldn't actually gain any sort of high. You'd just be inhaling like ash.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's how he would want to go. He would want to be stuck in like the lung cavities of all the people that he was close to. Mm-hmm. And Dolly Parton, because, I mean, it's Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
I just realized we're not even answering this question. I would say maybe get to the point where, like, your friends and family are in a comfortable position. Like, maybe they've just eaten, like, a large meal, like a bowl of grits, or just, like, a giant biscuit.
Jambalaya.
Yeah, that's Louisiana. We assumed he lived in, like, New Orleans, which is, like, the only part of Louisiana that, like, people care about.
Yeah.
He could be living in just some random swamp. Either way, I would say wait until they're, like, comfortable, and then just drop it on them.
Yeah.
And be like, sorry, guys, Luke Bryant, or whatever the hell his name is. The other guy who's Australian. What is his name?
Keith
Urban. Keith Urban. I don't think that should be allowed. It definitely is. It definitely is.
It sounds
some
racist,
sort of like
also like urban. Who's
wow.
he to call someone urban?
Unbelievable. I feel like Keith Urban. When I remember we talked about this like first episode. The fact that he was Australian, I feel like should not be allowed.
Yeah.
It's like when I found out Drake being Canadian. Yeah. That's offensive. No one should be from that country.
Sorry to our 3 listeners from Canada.
Yeah, no offense. They're not going to find it offensive. They're Canadian.
No, they'll apologize for us if we say
exactly.
Something.
That's why I'm thinking Keith Urban. That sounds like a witness protection program kind of name. Like, that's not a real person. He's married to Nicole Kidman, I think.
Yeah.
He sniffed out the other Aussie. He was like, "Come over here, girl. We're gonna be together." It's incredible how we won't actually answer most of these questions properly.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll
so
just
I would
talk around all.
Yeah. Drop it on them. You're valid for not liking country music. I feel like a lot of country music nowadays is literally just like this clearly influenced by hip hop beats.
Yeah.
So it's lyrically the same thing where they're like, country girl, I love you.
Wow.
In your boots, my little pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
Lick my butt. And you're like, wow. Bob Dylan could never write lyrics this freaking good. But then there's like trap beat in the background. So it's just a very bizarre mix. Like Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, I was just about to say, they're like the epitome of this.
Right? They seem like if like two natty lights became sentient. That is Florida Georgia Line. And I can't hate them because I feel like they might just be like fun. They might be fun.
I feel like one of them like got canceled or something.
No, I think that's another one. That's another country singer that you're thinking of. Who said I don't know. He said something related to black African American something related to blackness, and Michael Shea talked about this on like SNL. He was like, it was white people who snitched on him because there's no one who's black listens to him. So I guess we have to thank some I don't know, some very vigilant white country fan for digging up whatever he said. I don't know. Maybe it was like a random tweet that he sent out back in like 2012.
Yeah.
That's always what it is. It's always like you look at the time of the tweet was sent and it was like September 11, 2011. And you're like, what? That doesn't even count.
10 years after 9/11.
To honor the memory.
Yeah.
At exactly like 8:04. Like literally exactly a decade after it happened.
Oh, it's awful.
And he tweeted out like, durags are kind of sketchy. Like, I don't think cornrows are a good hairstyle. And people are like, execute him. Get rid of him. All right, next question. Code name Javi24.
Or is it Javi?
Oh my god, that's right. Look at me being racist, assuming the pronunciation is automatically English. They ask, do you plan to have actual celebs on the pod? If so, when? Bless you for thinking we would, anyone remotely famous would come onto this.
I love this question so much because it's like they're like, so when are you gonna have like other people talking?
Yeah.
Like,
when are you two gonna shut up?
Yeah.
I don't think we could get our parents to go onto this podcast, let alone a celebrity.
I don't even think my parents know I do a podcast.
I don't think my parents know what a podcast is. They would not. I don't really think. I prefer. Well, to be fair, we have had celebrities on like Melania. Who's the other one?
Was it Joe Biden?
I want to say Gilbert Gottfried, but I feel like we haven't had him on yet. I would love to have. Oh my god, could you imagine if he came in and he was like, "What? What is that?" He doesn't sound anything like that. Try and do an impersonation of him.
Affleck.
I think of him as remember Diago or whatever, the parrot from Aladdin. Oh. Because he played him, so he was like, I swear, if he shoves one more cracker down my throat. It's like that. He sounds like he sounds like an angry New Yorker. His hearing his voice makes my throat hurt.
Yeah, like it sounds like he like swallows cigarettes every morning. Like he doesn't just smoke them; he swallows the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like his version of green juice. He lights them up and then he just like he just gulps them down.
Yeah.
We would love to have if this podcast gets large enough, where to be fair, I don't really want it to get to the point where it's like celebrities are coming on. We're not Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to like have to interview a person.
I want to be the center of attention.
Exactly. It's about us. Also, it would be horrible. The rapport would be terrible.
Yeah.
We never stay on topic. We go on tangents. We'd be so bad at interviewing people.
I know.
But Larry David, if you are listening to this, we would love to have you on.
Yeah, Larry David, I would gladly have on the podcast.
I feel like Larry David would be like, he sees us as like two like little mouthy broads.
Yeah.
I don't think he would like us. I think every celebrity that I like would hate me.
I think the same.
And honestly, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, another question. At Broden Polly, or Polly, doesn't matter. Why does Rachel sound tall?
This feels like the meanest thing ever. Like, I feel like this is an insult.
Rachel's actually 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm actually a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
So.
And like men's league, not even WNBA.
Yeah, I play in the NBA.
She snuck in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very short. I'm like borderline too short, where it's a little disturbing. I feel like I get a lot of people, especially on my TikTok, who are like, "You're 5'2". I thought you were like 5'9". You seem like you'd be so tall." And I'm like, yeah, I do seem like the type of woman who would like professionally be like stepping on the necks of men with my heels. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's weird that when I'm not actually this giant domineering woman and I'm actually like a very tiny child sized imp woman.
Yeah.
I don't think it matches my energy. And that's just like a struggle that I have to live with. And I just feel like I tried to be taller. I remember being like 12 years old and Googling like how be taller, how be tall woman, how be tall a 12 girl.
You ever get those platform shoes or anything?
No, please. I'm not. No, that's some short man BS. That's some like Napoleon complex BS. No. I mean, I like shorter guys. I will say it. I think that 5'7" is a good height for a man.
Yeah.
It's a good, because it's taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate when girls are like, but like, what if I wear heels? He's going to be shorter than me. And I'm like, do you have heels fused to the bottom of your feet? Like, how often are you going to be wearing heels?
Yeah.
It's such a BS thing. It's like, nah, you just don't want a little manlet. You want to be able to look up at your boyfriend like he's that guy from the kissing booth. You ever see that scene?
Oh, I don't think so.
He's the guy who plays Nate in Euphoria. He's like very tall, and the main girl, it's one of those Netflix movie series that's like actually horrible. Sort of like To All the Boys I've Ever Loved. They're bad movies, objectively speaking. Mm-hmm. They are horrible films. But like teenage girls are like, not teenage, I wouldn't even say teenage. Like 12-year-old girls are like, I want a boyfriend like that. And I'm not making fun of them because it's valid and they're just horny and they don't know how else to like, they don't know how to channel that yet.
Yeah.
But just saying, it's the type of thing where like there's a shot in the film where the main guy, who is like 6'4", like the actor, he's in a gazebo with the female protagonist, who is very tiny. She's like 5'2". And he's like looking, they're standing next to each other. And he looks so unbelievably large compared to her. She looks like a Pez dispenser. And he looks like he could literally rip her head off from her body with one hand.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of girls are like, I want that. That's for me. And that's valid.
I want a man that could kill me.
Yeah. I want a man who could like accidentally kick me into next week without even thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? I can't hate on that. But it's also, I feel like if you're a guy and you're 6'4" and you're white, no offense, but it's about to get racial. When you're white and over 6 feet, you're literally on easy mode. Like in terms of dating apps, in terms of like, it's is it not? And you're like reasonably attractive and not like malnourished or morbidly obese.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's so easy. I sound like such an incel, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
There is a dating hierarchy, and white guys over 6 feet, I say as I go on dates with white guys over 6 feet, it's disgusting. I'm a hypocrite. Literally are on easy mode. That's why I'm not impressed. If you're white and over 6 feet and you're dating, it's like, yeah, what excuse do you have?
Yeah, you better
I'm not impressed. Anyway, I say that and I think it's because they get smoke blown up their ass all the time. All the time. And it's actually disgusting.
Yeah.
So that's why I think 5'7" guys are more attractive in my own eyes. That's a good size.
I've got some tiny, tiny male friends in my life.
Yeah, they're cute.
They have to have some other defense mechanism or some other quality. So, like, they're always, like, funnier or easier to talk to because they have to be.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is better in the long run, you know?
It's true. I feel like, because they're tall enough where they're not, like, very insecure about it.
Yeah.
But they're not so tall that they get cocky.
Yeah.
Which is why guys, handsome men over 6 feet, attractive people in general are legitimately so boring to interact with.
Yeah.
And I know you might be thinking like, wait a minute, but like you're so hot and you're interesting. Like, yeah, I know, but I'm the exception.
Yeah.
I'm the exception. That's why you need to date someone who's like kind of a little ugly.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. They need to have like tasted being dusty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you become a person, is being ugly for just like a little bit of time.
Yeah, like maybe like they still wear those like big cargo shorts.
The Kevin Smith, have you seen the jorts? Kevin Smith's jorts?
Wait, no, I don't think so.
Please Google it. Anyone listening to me, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Kevin Smith jorts.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it. Oh wait, I have seen this.
It's
and he's pumping the gas.
unbelievable. How? I feel like if he jumped off a building, they would like the air that would rush through it would act like a parachute.
Oh my
god. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. At Lost in Translation asks, if I were to rampage a village, is it morally wrong to eat the children, or should I stick to adults? I feel like the kids are free game. I feel like children are like very I've said this before. I made a video about this. I was like, I think like babies look like they would taste really good.
Yeah.
And that's true, right? And they like, you know, they can't walk yet, so like they're easy to catch. Watch this video get demonetized. I think that it should be free game. I don't think it's fair. What, an adult deserves to die, but a kid doesn't? Yeah. You're probably right. But I just feel like sometimes, maybe this is exclusively to like babies, which I know is messed up because they're like the most defenseless version of a child. But most toddlers to like tweens, they're pretty scrawny, so there's like not much meat on them.
True, yeah.
So that'd be a waste. Like if you were starving, you want to get the chunkers, right? So you'd start off with like the people who have the most fat on them. Mm-hmm. And then you would sort of make your way to, I guess, the thin people. What do you think about this? Is it okay to eat children?
Well, I think about this all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, so it's like, I feel like you could almost do it like by family. Because like if you already ate the kid's parents, then like you might as well just finish the job, you know?
Yeah.
Because also then you're leaving a kid without parents. Like that's really bad. So you might as well just eat them. Yeah.
Or you're like handing them over to the state. Now they're going to be a foster kid. Now the taxpayers have to pay for them. That's selfish. Yeah. I love how in this system people are rampaging villages, but there's also like a state infrastructure that takes care of orphans. I can't wait until if I actually become a relevant person in any capacity, not necessarily online. I can't wait for people to take all of these clips out of context and being like, the musings of a crouton thinks eating children is okay. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah. You caught me. Yeah. And you know what? I speak for the silent majority. I love when people who are like Trump supporters were like, we're the silent majority. And I'm like, silent? Silent? Yeah. When have y'all ever been silent?
I wish you'd be silent. That's like when who is it? Marjorie Taylor Greene was like speaking nationally televised on C-SPAN wearing a mask that's like, I am silenced. Meanwhile, she's literally getting broadcasted to thousands.
I can't. You ever see the footage of her doing the pull-ups?
Yes!
Someone was like, why does she look like one of those chimps in captivity?
She was so, like, wavy with her body. Like, she would swing.
It was so aggressive.
Yeah.
Anywho, hashtag girl boss. So, what were we saying? Silent majority.
Oh, yeah. Eating children.
Eating children. I was thinking about, because the silent majority people, you told me how you posted that Ben Shapiro thing on our Instagram and we lost 20 followers, but then we gained 40 more.
Yeah.
So that's still a net gain of 20.
Yeah, like, it still ended up working out in the long run, but I was like, the Venn diagram of listeners of our podcast and fans of Ben Shapiro, I thought they were two separate circles, but apparently there's that 20 people in the middle that are both.
There's that overlap, which is ridiculous because we're, like, insufferable leftists, but hey. Anyway, we have one final question from @ricardo.cxr TREZ, so like controlled res. When are we getting an episode with the French? That was his question. Just, I guess, the entirety of the French population, the landmass itself. The beautiful thing is, because we were reading these questions prior to recording, we actually have a French person in the studio with us. Not a celebrity, just a random French person that we forced to do this. Because we have a bit of information on him. Or her. I actually don't know. They're very androgynous. So, Pierre, or Pierre, you can get on the mic real quick. Yeah, no. No. You can take the handcuffs off. Like, they're not even real. Yeah, he's walking over here. She's walking over here. They're walking over here. Okay. Welcome to the show, Pierre. Oh, thank you. This is really nice to be on here. Not without my consent.
I think Pierre, you're such a little rascal. I don't know what that last part was.
I don't want to be here. You are forcing me to do this, but I agreed. Why I don't understand why I'm behind this glass screen. I haven't been able to communicate with my friends and family for a week, and my accent is slowly slipping. I don't even know if I'm French anymore.
I think, Pierre, you just have one crazy imagination. That must be a French thing you got going on.
I'm not even French. I'm Canadian.
What?
I know. I talk like this because I was locked in a room with a Celine Dion record on for about 52 hours, and then I emerged, and this is just what I sound like now.
Wow, that's quite the story.
I know, it's incredible. Now I can only wear black clothes, and a beret is fused to my head permanently, and I cannot take it off even to shower.
Yeah, and I see you've been smoking a lot of cigarettes the whole time we've been here.
A cigarette manifests in my hand every morning.
Yeah.
I cannot let go of it. It's constantly smoking. It's the same one for several months. It never goes down.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. I am a phenomenon scientifically. I've reached out to multiple people to tell them of my experience, and they're like, you are just a regular French person. Like, I'm confused. That's like if you said, oh, I'm American. I wake up every day and there's a hot dog in my mouth. That's like the normal experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is though.
So, can I leave now?
Well, since we've already gotten all of your money, I guess you can.
Yeah, we're kind of done with you now. The back door's open. I opened it while you were giving your little spiel about how hard it is being French. So you can leave. Oh, thank you. It's so nice to taste freedom. I'm sorry, I'm crying right now, but I haven't been able to get fresh air in a week. Okay, that's fine. That's like kind of gross.
It's like probably from all the cigarettes, so it's kind of your fault.
I think so. Yeah, we're wearing satin, so like if you could just not get your tears on us, that would be really greatly appreciated. Anyway, that's the end of that segment. No one's ever gonna see him again. No. We have a listener message.
It's a voice message from a listener, and for their name they wrote, I love Sara more. And the subject line, Sara, I love you more, that Rachel. So, first of all, proofread your message before you send it, but let's take a listen.
Oh my god. Sara, I love you. Like your TikToks, your YouTube, and your, like, the podcast thingy. It's so cute. It's so adorable. Rachel, you'll be giggling the whole time. Saying, the only thing you'll be saying is, hee hee, haha. Like, it's so annoying. Stop. But, like, keep going. You're so fun. Anyways, love from the Netherlands, the Dutchies. Like, we're the best.
King. Wow. Rachel?
Rachel? Rachel, all you do is laugh. I mean, they're not wrong. I do be giggling a lot.
True.
But man, shout out to the Netherlands, though. To the Dutch.
That was the accent? Why did I think he was Indonesian? I swear to you. I'm so bad. I'm so bad.
Thanks for sending us that little audio. I'll play that every morning when I wake up. That's gonna be my new alarm. Him going hee hee hoo hoo.
Anyway, so the next segment, because that has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but there's no consistency on this podcast anyway. Us being very big readers, we thought it would be interesting if we incorporated some excerpts from probably 3 of the greatest works of literature published in the English language.
Definitely.
The first one, of course, being 50 Shades of Grey. The second being Twilight, and the third being probably one of the greatest fan fictions ever written, starring those 5 cute little British twinks known as One Direction.
Yeah.
2 of them have children.
Wait, I didn't even know that.
Louis has a kid. Louis has been a father for a while.
What?
And then Zayn had that baby with Gigi Hadid.
Oh, I did know about the Zayn baby. Louis has I always thought Louis really was gay. Like, out of all 5, I was like, I feel like he probably really is.
No, he was just the one who couldn't sing.
Yeah, he really...
He
Because there would always
couldn't.
be that one girl like in school that was like, "Ugh, I love Louis," and it's like, who loves Louis the most?
He was the funny one, and like that's kind of like he kind of had to be.
He wasn't bringing anything else to the table.
Oh, yep.
I said it.
I remember there was someone on this was on Tumblr like way back when they were still like, you know, a band. And someone said like, you know, in every boy band or music group, there's always that like one person who isn't attractive or whatever, but like that's not even the case with One Direction. Like they're all hot. And then someone replied like, "Oh my god, did something happen to Louis?" And
oh no.
And I cackled. I was like, that's so mean, but that's so good. This is what the internet was made for. Anyway, I'm glad that One Direction, like, no one cares about them now. And most of their fans are, like, grown adults. So they're not going to come and try to decapitate us like BTS fans who are legitimately deranged.
Yes.
We have 50 Shades of Grey, the full book up, obviously, because we have read it. And actually, we are the inspiration for Anastasia. Yeah. People think that it's what's her name again, Bella or like Beatrice. I don't know, the main protagonist from Twilight. But we actually ran into E.L. James back in like 2010, and both of us were so awkward and gangly and like mouth breathy that she was like, "I'm gonna write a book about you two." Yeah, and we're like, "That's weird," because we're like 11 years old.
Yeah,
she was
we
like,
were in
"Don't
like
worry
5th
about
grade.
Yeah, and we were like, "Why are you in our school library, first of all? That's very weird." And she was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't ask any questions." So basically, we're going to be reading out some of the best quotes from this book. Are you ready, Rachel? Why don't you like to be touched? Because I'm 50 shades of fucked up, Anastasia.
Don't get your panties in such a twist. And give me back mine. Ew, I hated that.
What's the line that was like, "My own Christian Grey flavored popsicle"?
Oh no, that's disgusting.
That's nasty. That's how I'm gonna refer to my boyfriend's peen.
Yeah.
Insert name here, flavored popsicle. Oh, a flesh popsicle.
Ew.
"I want you sore, baby," he murmurs. So did he say it like, "I want you sore, baby"? Imagine like Michael Sara saying that. And he continues his sweet leisurely torment, backward, forward. "Every time you move tomorrow, I want you to be reminded that I've been here. Only me. You are mine." And then he like wolf growls, I think. He goes like, "Oh." Anyway.
"Your stepfather? I'd like to meet him." "Oh no, why? I'm not sure that's such a good idea." Christian unlocks the door, his mouth in a grim line. "Are you ashamed of me?" "No, it's my turn to sound exasperated." "Introduce you to my dad as what? This is the man who deflowered me and wants to start a BDSM relationship? You're not wearing running shoes." What?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I hate how she's also like still has her V card when she's with him.
Ugh.
Like, oh god, how many disturbing like tropes had to be included in this?
Yeah.
Well, we're done with that. They're not as funny as I remembered, but I think that's just because we don't have like a visual accompaniment.
True.
We can try Twilight, which is the original 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
In many ways. And is also, I would say, the first film is not that bad.
Yeah, I actually like didn't hate it. Is the first one's the baseball scene, right?
Yes, the baseball scene is iconic.
Yeah.
It is legitimately one of the best scenes in movie history, and that's a fact.
That is.
If teenage girls were not the primary audience that liked Twilight, it would not have received as much hatred.
That's true.
It's true. It's because we hate teenage girls. I'm saying that we, as in like both you and I, like we hate them.
Yeah,
we have individual vendettas against them. Society at large is like, oh, teenage girls like this. It's automatically stupid.
Yeah.
And they're only right half of the time.
True.
So here are some lines from Twilight. I think the line where Jacob goes up to Bella and he's like,
Loca?
"Bella, how you, Loca." That's not in the book. But it should be.
How you been, Loca? He like runs up and hugs her, and he's got that
Did
long
he
hair.
improvise that?
I have
Did
no
he
idea.
improvise that?
Loca.
Why did I think that he said, "How you been, chica"?
No, I think it's loca, right?
I think it's loca. Anyway, some of the best lines from Twilight include, "Stupid shiny Volvo odor." That sounds like a slur.
I like this one. About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how potent that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
You get it, girl. Another one of the bests are, how old are you? 17, he answered promptly. And how long have you been 17? His lips twitched as he stared at the road. A while, he admitted at last. I like this image of him. Stephanie Meyer does this thing where she will constantly say, like, he whispered or he murmured, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? If you imagine if any, half the time you were speaking to someone, they were just like, and you're like, what?
Huh?
What did you say? They were like, and you're like, what are you
Speak
saying?
up.
I can't
Yeah.
hear you.
Uh,
Oh my god. So I'm also gonna read to you the One Direction fanfic. Legitimately the most touching story. I think I'm sorry. I just saw an image that said #imagine you come out of a teeth transplant. Harry, I'm out alive, you scream. Who do you think gave you the teeth? He says, smiling. And of course it's like an image of him
with no teeth.
Anyway, so here is the actual fanfic. #imagine, : you and Zane are at the hospital because you are getting a heart transplant. I'm so nervous, you say. Don't be. You're gonna pull through this. I know that for a fact. You kiss him and go into operation. You come out successful and run out to tell Zane, but he's not there. You find a little teddy bear with a card shaped like a card. Hey babe, sorry I couldn't be there for you after your operation, but I will always be in your heart forever. Zane. You ask one of the nurses, where's the boy I was with before my operation? The nurse replies, didn't they tell you who the donor was? Broken heart. That, a card shaped like a card.
That was good, yeah.
There's so many layers to it. It's just so intricate. The pixelated image of Zane in the corner just staring at you just makes it even better.
Yeah. I also love the idea that you can run immediately after heart surgery. She's just like up and running to the hospital.
The fact that he was about to go, that she got the transplant, so she was literally on the stretcher about to be pulled in to get the operation. Yet he hadn't had the heart taken out of him yet. So I was like, are they just gonna put you under and then scoop the heart out of him?
Yeah.
While he's still alive? Give it. Also, I don't think you can be like, I'm gonna give this person my heart if you're like a physically fit person. Because then that would require the hospital to kill you to give your organ to someone.
Yeah, that's like definitely against like every medical code ever.
Yeah. Also, there's just so many layers to it that are incredible. The fact that it's clearly written by a child, like probably a prepubescent child.
Yeah.
The last line takes you out. It took me out like a freaking bullet to the chest. Didn't they tell you who the donor was? Hello? Oh my god, that's just, I'm sorry, but this story legitimately, unironically, touched me and was more memorable than most classical novels that I've read.
Yeah, this is better than anything I read in like high school English.
Tell me that you're gonna remember that story for the rest of your life. Could you say the same thing about The Great Gatsby? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anywho, we're now at the last portion of our podcast for today, where I talk about me quitting my job and making content online in full. And anyone listening to this podcast for the first time would be like, how is that possible? You two are insufferable. But there's a lot of people who like us, baby.
Yeah.
I graduated college in like July, right? Because I had a summer session. I also don't think that I'm ever going to get my certificate because they fully are like, we sent it out to you. And I was like, well, I didn't get it. So whatever. I graduated. I got hired technically before I graduated because I was interviewing for stuff. So I told him, like, I know. So a week after, I moved. Started my job. Second day on the job, I post a TikTok that goes viral. The 2 subsequent TikToks do even better than that. So, a month later, I'm talking to the day. A month later, I quit my job.
Yeah.
Which was 2 days ago. As if recording. But you guys are not going to hear this for like another 3 weeks. I quit my job. Now, let me just say this, in case anyone who worked with me or my boss is listening. I didn't have any problems with the people there. That wasn't really the issue. It was just the fact that, like, we used to have these morning meetings, right? And the whole point of the meetings is, like, they'd go over information to help us with sales. But it was, like, after you went to a handful of those meetings, you're like, this is the same information that we're being told over and over again. And that portion wasn't even, it was the fact that there was this mandatory prep that was expected of people, where I'm okay with going to meetings in the morning, but there was a section where, like, they would say the people who did well and then you'd give them a shout out, but you were supposed to woo after each person. And being expected to be cheerful in the morning for a job is actually, like, sadistic. I think it should be a crime.
Yeah.
I don't think that people owe you enthusiasm. And it was very, like, it was the perfect encapsulation of, like, this forced corporate joy that I remember thinking, like, in the back of my head, I was like, I'm really grateful that I have this job. But, like, I'm also leaving the absolute second that I can.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say, the mentality of about 85% of people who are working right now.
True. Because I just had to get a second job, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it, but I gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Exactly. And I sound like such an ingrate, because it's been about a month. I worked a real job for 4 weeks, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. I just can't. Watch me have to get another job because, like, something happens. I feel it in my bones. I feel like I got lucky, and everything happened and worked out for me too quickly. So I feel like now I need to get, like, I need to get knocked down a little bit.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I feel like I'm saying this even though I'm not rich. I'm not making, like, so much money from this stuff that I'm set for life or anything like that.
Yeah. But
it's enough where I realized I don't want this job anymore. It's draining the energy from my soul. Yeah. Because I wasn't in it. It would have been one thing if I was like, okay, I want to be promoted to a managerial position or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna put in the effort. But it was more like, this is a means to an end. Like, this is just a placeholder job until I can do what I actually want. Yeah. And there's nothing worse than being in a job where you are looking for the exit. Yeah. Like, you are waiting for the opportunity to leave. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with, like, the job itself or the people there, who were all fine. Like, they were great people. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't do it. In the morning, I'd be in the meeting and I would be shaking. Because you have to have your video on. And I would just be like, I cannot bring myself to be happy at 9:30. Yeah. I physically cannot do it. Anyway, so that was the end of my wage slave story. I'm sorry that you can't relate. If right out of college you were able to be a content creator, like me.
An influencer.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, you're like, if you get stopped at the airport and they're like, what do you do for a living? You gotta say influencer.
Yeah. And then I have to do, like, that pose. Yeah. And then I have to tongue pop. Death drop and be like, I'm an influencer. Oh, I'm an influencer. And they're like, we don't have a box for that. So we're just gonna say unemployed. And I'm like, that's pretty much the same thing.
You're like, no, yeah, that's right.
It's really weird having to explain. Tell me what, I told my dad about this, right? And he knows what the internet is, but he's, like, in his 60s. So he's not someone who's like, oh, an influencer. I know what that is. Yeah. So I could literally be in a position where I'm making millions of dollars online, and he'd still be like, it's not too late to apply to grad school. You could always. Yeah. And I'm like, for what? And I just think it's the idea of him having to explain to his friends, like, yeah, my daughter makes videos online and makes money from that. They'd be like, wow. Like, is she a cam girl? Like, what do you mean?
She make mukbangs? What's going on?
Yeah, like, imagine being a mukbanger. Like, that was your job, which, shout out to y'all. Y'all are geniuses. Imagine, like, the parents of those people being like, let me get this straight. You're making more money than a doctor.
Yeah.
Eating camera in silence in your house. I say this as someone who watches them, and I love those videos. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine explaining to one of your ancestors that this is something that you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing?
Crazy.
They would lose their minds. They're like, I'm a child laborer. Like, I started working when I was 3 years old. No vacation, no benefits. Half my siblings died of polio. Or I was orphaned at 15, working 12 hours a day. No rights. I'm a peasant. I'm busted. I probably need glasses, but I don't know what those are yet because they haven't been invented.
Yeah.
And just think, like, yeah, your ancestor makes as much money as, like, one of your feudal overlords by eating Taco Bell in front of a mic and having people listen to them crunch on food. I feel like they would actually have a breakdown.
Yeah.
You think they would be, like, disturbed by it, or they'd be proud? They'd be like, yes, my lineage, finally. We get to do nothing and make money.
I would be proud. I would be mooching off of that. Like, if someone I knew was a mukbanger, I'd be like, let me take a slice of that. Like, I'll eat in front of a camera for some money.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you think it's like that's the only thing they eat. Like, they don't, if they're not on camera, they don't consume food.
What if it was like a disease? Yeah, like you can only like,
oh my god, that's actually so. Please don't give Netflix any ideas. They're gonna turn that into a whole, like, they're gonna turn that into an entire series where it's like the future. Mukbangers have taken over. You're only allowed, like, your body, your esophagus won't even open up unless, like, your body hears that, like, recording sound go on.
Yeah.
That's actually a horror movie.
This is like some off-brand Black Mirror type show.
That's so scary.
Ray
Could you imagine? And, like, your power turns off or your phone doesn't work, and then you just starve to death.
That'd be crazy.
That's scary. I feel like we've depleted ourselves. I don't have anything else to say.
I'm content.
And that's all we gotta say on that. Tune in. We would say next week, but we are not remotely consistent enough, so tune in whenever we decide to upload.
See ya! This has been The Boredroom with Sara and Rachel.
The Boredroom is edited by Rachel Nicewander.
Stephen Duranske is our graphic designer, and our theme music is by Doug Maxwell and Media Right Productions.
Support the podcast by donating on Patreon or Anchor. Links in the description.
Got a question? Email us at boredroombusiness@gmail.com.
Or DM us on Instagram at Boredroom Podcast.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to The Boredroom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Like, comment, rate, and review. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Solicit us. We'll take anything.